Welcome to Finding Your Way with Lori and Tanya. I'm Lori.
Tanya.
And so today we're going to talk about law of attraction, which is our favorite subject.
We love this topic.
We do love this topic because we believe in it so much. And so law of attraction, of course, everybody's heard of about it by now. Unbeknownst to each other, back in the early 90s, we were both watching the Oprah show that had the authors from the book The Secret on it, and we didn't even know until years later that
we had even discussed it.
Yeah, that had impacted our lives so much. And so law of attraction, basics of it, like attracts like. And so whether you put out positive or you put out negative, that's what you're drawing back to you.
And it's like the law of gravity. It's like any other law in the universe. You drop something, it falls to the ground, right? You put out something, that's what you get back. And I think that it too, and I use this a lot, but it's like a muscle. You have to train yourself to use it. You have to train yourself to identify it and to make sure that you are putting out the right stuff that you want back.
Yeah, so it's always talking to, if we really believe this, which we really do, if you really believe it, you need to be thinking, talking, speaking out loud the things that you do want in your life, not the things that you don't want.
And you got to feel them. So it's not just saying them out loud or writing them in a journal, because I journal a lot of things I want. It's my manifestation journal. But it's also the feeling that goes into these things. And I think the feeling is more important than a lot, than anything else. I think that when you put them all together, oh my gosh, you're going to manifest whatever you want, or attract whatever you want. But I think truly that feeling, the belief that it's going to happen, and the feeling that it already has happened, how good it makes you feel when you get the thing you want, or you attract the person that you're trying to, or the situation. It's that feeling.
Yeah, so we talk all the time. We give each other examples of how it's shown up in our life, and I think that's very true. You definitely put out in your thoughts and your words what you do want, and then you have to surrender it. You know, you surrender it to God, the universe, whoever, whatever you believe in, higher power, that it's already coming to you. Sort of like when you order from Amazon, you know 2-day shipping, it's coming. I mean,
but you believe it. You don't question it.
You don't even question it. And so we've done this on small things like parking spaces, which Tanya is like the queen of getting the best parking space. And people that don't practice this really are amazed by just that simple. Tell about how people do when they're riding with you.
Well, and I always put my intention out first, so it's not like I just happen upon the space. I mean, I know where I'm going, and I'll say to myself, okay, thank you so much for that great space. I'm in a hurry today. I thank you for front row. And so sometimes, just to mess with people, I'll kind of say it out loud, and especially somebody who doesn't really know that about me, I'll say it out loud, and we'll pull into a parking spot, and I'll wheel in, and they say, oh my God, I've never had this parking spot in this unheard of. And I said, well, you heard me say it. It was gonna happen. And it happens to me all the time. Now, and I will tell you that there are times when I forget to think about it up front, that I'm parking, in Egypt for sure. But as long as I put the intention out and I'm grateful for that space before I get to that parking lot, it happens. My boys are amazed sometimes at the parking spot. And I've got friends who get in the car with me now, and they just assume we're getting front row, because we usually do.
Yeah, and so I've had instances where, like, when you get so much in alignment and in flow with the universe, and we've wondered, is it technology that's getting smarter than we are maybe sometimes, but like I will not even have searched for something on, Facebook or Google or anything like that. I won't have spoken it out loud. I've just thought about, hey, I really need a pink umbrella. And lo and behold, like I open the next email and there's somebody with a sale on a pink umbrella. It is fascinating. It really is for something that small
and simple. When we, and I've told this story before, but when we went to our very first workshop where we really started putting this work into practice, and some of this work that we do, we had not even known that it was work. Like it was our very first time 4 or 5 years ago. And we had just gotten back. It was the same week, and I had a kid, 1 at gymnastics, 2 at dance. I was going to be late to pick up the gymnastics kid because the youngest had to have peaches and something else for school. And Publix shopping center is always packed. It's always crazy. And I was on the way to Publix and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to call the gym and tell them I'm going to be late to please hold my kid because I've got to go in and find peaches and park in this Publix shopping center parking lot. And so I had said before I got there, thank you so much. Well, first of all, I said, okay, I'm going to be late. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. And then I was like, wait. No, I'm not. I'm so grateful that I am going to be on time to get my kid and that I am going to have peaches and get everything I need to get done. I wheeled into the parking lot, front row spot. I walked in. Not only had I never been in this Publix before, so I was stressing about where these peaches were. I walk in the door and on the end cap, they were having a sale on peaches. I grabbed my 2 cans of peaches. Guess what? There was no line for checkout in the express checkout lane. I was in and out in 2 minutes and perfectly on time to get my child. And for me, I mean, I remember calling Lori and saying, okay, this stuff works. Like, I know we are just getting started, but this works.
Yeah, so it's the same thing for me. I went to buy a new car at the end of last year, and I had in my mind what I wanted, and all of a sudden I'm starting to see the car like everywhere. It was like once I had the thought, so thoughts become things, right? And so I was constantly thinking about the type of car I wanted, and then all of a sudden they started showing up everywhere, and I was like, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. Like, okay, I'm going to get my car now. It's okay.
Well, and let's talk about the opposite, right? Okay, so it works in reverse. When you start talking about what you don't want, universe doesn't hear don't. And when the feeling is overwhelm and when you are in that negative space, you continue to get negative. I had a friend recently who had a door handle on the car that didn't work and they were stressed about it, and then all of a sudden that stress manifested or created the engine light coming on, and the next day before they could get it to the shop, the check tire light came on, and then they called me and said, oh my God, my toilet's overflowing. And I said, but what are you putting out? You've got this overwhelmed feeling and you have expressed it out loud. You've thought about it, you've worried about it. And so let's back it up and let's reel it in. How can we think differently to get those thoughts away? Let's get the negative out. And how can we start thinking positively and start attracting some more positive?
Yeah, so it's either a good thing or a bad thing to be our friend, because we do exactly that to people, and you know
it can be frustrating.
and I'm so thankful that the people in my life know that this is something I believe, that thoughts become things, because when I go down that negative path, I want them to call me on it and be like, wait a minute, reframe, stop a minute, reframe how you're saying it, because you're putting that out.
Yeah, I mean, just recently I had a son, he was going to be late for dance, and I said, hurry up, we're going to be late. Come on, we're going to be late. And I put it out, right? Lo and behold, we pull out of the neighborhood, and the first thing we happen upon is a train that is never there, and the train stops on the tracks for 12 minutes. Guess who was late for dance? We put it out there. If I had left a few minutes earlier, seconds earlier, but I put it out that I wanted to be late. Because I said I don't want to be late. Well, universe only hears late. So think about the way you say things, because that's important too.
And those are all sort of small things, all the things we've talked about so far, but I really believe that I manifested my husband, and y'all can think I'm crazy, but I really do. I had gotten in, I was in my late 20s, so, I wasn't like most people, and found my someone early on in my 20s, and I just gotten to a place where I really was ready. Like, I was ready to find somebody to settle down with and to build a life with. And so I thought about it, and I wrote about it, and I prayed about it, and I just knew it was coming to me. And this was years ago. This was 20 years ago.
Before we did the work.
And I mean, like, literally, I wish I had kept those old journals, because I had it like written out that I was ready for the right person for me. And little did I know, his mother was on the other side of the state line praying for the same thing for him, and by happenstance we met each other and are still together today. So I joke with him all the time that I manifested him into my life.
And you can manifest anything you want, but remember what you put out. You know, people call it karma. What you put out, you get back. And
Boomerang, like a boomerang. Yeah.
So be real careful what you say, what you do, and those emotions you feel. When you're feeling panicked, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling overwhelmed, you are attracting more of those things. That doesn't mean you can't honor those feelings when they pop up. Yeah. Things happen that are going to frustrate you, but don't let them stay there for long. Release them and start thinking about what you do want, and what would the positive of that situation be.
It's even words like, you know, there's common phrases that people use. Oh my gosh, if I do that, I'm going to die. Well, is that really what you want to be putting out to the universe? Right. If this is true, that thoughts become things and words become things, you know, you kill me, all kinds of things like that, you know, I have never thought of before I started, you know, really educating myself about this law. And, you know, it really is scary a little bit that, you know, if thoughts become things and we're in this negative mind space all the time, no wonder everything's falling apart and nothing's going your way. Absolutely. You know? And so it really is yes, you can feel the emotions in the moment, but, you know, really get to a point where what are we really getting emotional about? If it's little things like a door handle getting stuck, is that really life or death? It's not. It's not. We put so much emotion behind things that are so small in the grand scheme of things. That book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, right. You know. And it really is true. And so redirect that, reframe, especially on the small things. Big things, yes. Big life-changing things, yes.
You can have emotion behind
right.
it. But again, get over it. Because if you don't, you're just going to continue to attract the same level, the same amount of whatever negative or whatever you don't want.
And catch yourself. I mean, it is learning this. It's learning how to, if you're coming from that negative space, it's starting to recognize when you're having those negative thoughts and redirect it sort of immediately, or your thoughts or your words. Like I was saying the other day, something about I'm broke, or I say all the time my hair won't cooperate. Well, of course it's not, because I'm putting that out there.
Well, and it's nice to have a partner, because we do it for each other. I mean, we talk daily, and there's at least one time every single day that one of us reframes for the other one. My favorite line, especially on a Monday, is I'm struggling, and Lori will say, of course you are, because you just put it out that you want to be struggling. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And so then I have to reframe to, it's a great day, or I'm so grateful that I am doing this well, and I'm ready for it to be better. It is, again, start putting things in terms of what you do want, not what you don't want.
That's right. So we challenge y'all to do that, and whether you believe it yet or not, just walk through it and put out what you do want. Feel it, feel like you believe it, like really do that, and then celebrate it when it comes to you, because it's coming.
And when it does, you'll believe it.
That's right.
All right, we hope this was helpful. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, share it. Share it with anybody that you think could use it. Please subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe so you get notifications when we post these. And then we've got a great Facebook page. It's called the Positive Vibe Tribe. We've got quite a few thousand members in that group that share daily. It's a great way to have some positivity on your news feed that sometimes is not always full of positivity. So please join us. We hope we're helpful.